Hello and welcome to the No Filter Just Faith podcast. I am so excited for today's episode. I have two of my good friends here, and we're just going to be kicking off a series called Journeys of Faith, which is where we just get to know parishioners and hear about how we've all come to grow in closer relationship with Jesus. So I'm so excited to be here. Michael and Teresa, how are you?
So good.
Yeah, fabulous.
Yay! Okay, well, I know you both well, but just so that everybody kind of has an idea of who you are and what you do, can you just start off with like a intro, what you do in Chicago, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so I'm Teresa. I moved to Chicago about 5 years ago, come from small town Peoria, and I have my own business. So I'm a wedding photographer. And yeah, that's kind of like my day job. That's what brought me into the city. And I have been here ever since. I love it.
Michael's turn.
Yeah, my name is Michael McGuire. I've been in Chicago for 3 years now. I moved here from Indianapolis, where I moved after college in Ohio. So I kind of call it the Holy Trinity of the Midwest.
Nice.
But I'm from Chicago originally, south suburbs. That's where I grew up. And I do performance improvement consulting. I travel a little bit. So yeah, that's I'm living in Lincoln Park now. I love it. We've had like 14 days of consecutive perfect weather
It's insane.
for the first time all year.
I'm so grateful.
The
Yeah.
best.
Chicago right
The
now.
best.
So, life is good right now in Chicago.
Life is good.
Yeah.
I don't even think I officially know this, how you both kind of found St. Clement and where you first started getting involved. Why don't you start, Teresa?
Yeah, it's actually so crazy. So I moved to Chicago on a Saturday. My first neighborhood was Lincoln Park. And if anyone knows me, this is so on brand, but I moved and literally that night I shot a wedding. So it was just
my
of
gosh.
course.
Yeah.
And then that was a Saturday. And the next day I was like, it's Sunday, I have to go to church. And I walked over to St. Clement. And so insane. I knew not a single human at the church. And I got lost on the way, which is hilarious because it was like a 3-minute walk. And I've just been going to St. Clement ever since.
Yeah. Wait, day one. I love that since you've been here, you've been in Lincoln Park. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
It was like one of the first signs I feel like I knew I wanted to live in Lincoln Park and live at my specific apartment I was at because I saw from the view there was a church and I was like, wait, that feels like a sign. So I love it.
That's awesome. Michael, what about
Yeah,
you?
so I found St. Clement because when I was living in Indy, I would come up every weekend, visit my friends in Chicago, and they were living in Lakeview at the time, some in Lincoln Park. So I slept on a couch for like 3 years straight, every single weekend. And that meant every Sunday morning I would have to wake up and just go find a mass time. So depending on what happened the night before,
Yeah.
it's either 9 o'clock, St. Alphonsus had an 11 o'clock, which
Yeah.
was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is there was no air conditioning in there.
Yeah.
So in the summer after a night out, I was paying for the night before. But I would just switch off between St. Alphonsus, St. Clement, and or DePaul.
Mm-hmm.
Just truly depending on what mass time there is. And so then when I moved, my first apartment was right in the middle of all three of them. They were the exact same distance away. And I started to do the dance again of, all right, what time works for this weekend? Am I golfing in the morning? So just kind of planning mass time around my schedule. And then I think for once I went to a 7 o'clock at St. Clement and I was like, okay, this is different. And I went back the next week and that's just been my weekly mass time ever since.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love your honesty of being like, yeah, mass was just when I could fit it in.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Didn't miss,
'cause-
but it certainly was not Saturday.
Right.
Yeah, anything.
Because now I know you, and Michael's at daily mass a lot. Mass is a priority now.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. And so when did you, what made you say, you both did Alpha, which is how the three of us got to know each other because we led a group together. So at what point did you take your faith one step beyond going to mass, and what did you do? Was Alpha the first thing that you did to kind of get involved in the community?
Yeah, I feel like you know how they talk about how you have to see something so many times to finally give in. And I feel like that's how Alpha was for me.
Yeah.
Like, literally, how many years was it that, like, Father was up there, like, talking about Alpha? And it was like, oh my gosh, like, I should do that. And then you just don't. And, anyways, it was. So I moved to Chicago in 2020, and then it wasn't until 2023, finally. Those 3 years, I feel like I pretty much knew no one at St. Clement, which is so wild because now, like, I feel like I go to church and I know someone at every mass. It's so special. And those few years were just very busy work and career years for me. And then, yeah, I guess it was in 2023. I was, like, going through a lot of transitions in my life and a lot of just change and some personal just, like, hardships. And that's when I, like, whoever was up at the altar talking about Alpha, and I was like, I just need to do it. Like, I'm so sick of saying I'm going to do this, and I do want to meet people, and I guess I just didn't know where to start and, like, how to get involved. I saw so many events, but there were so many. I was like, I don't know, like, I feel weird going alone.
Yeah.
And I think that's, like, the unique thing about Alpha is, like, you don't need to know a single human, and it's not awkward. Like, it's not weird because so many people come in and, like, you don't know anyone. And that's what's special is no one knows anyone. So it's like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's like college. It's great. So yeah, that was my door into St. Clement. And ever since I've just been hooked, and now I just, like, can't get enough.
Yeah.
And all the things I'm like, I want to go to, I always, like, check my calendar, and I'm like, as much as possible, like, I want to be involved and see my friends. So I love it. It's such a special space.
I love that. Michael, what was your, like, journey to doing Alpha?
Yeah, so it was 2024 for me, and similar to Teresa, that time of my life, it was just, like, very transitional, career changes and stuff like that, of just kind of trying to figure out what my path should be. And it was a time that should have been super stressful, but for some reason it wasn't, probably because I started getting involved in going to daily mass. I had so much time on my hands, and so I could just explore that. And it was a time where, like I said, should have been anxious, stuff that I would traditionally feel, but I wasn't. And so then 2024, it's January, I'm setting my goals for the year, which I had never done before. But I was like, I'm going to set goals. And I kind of broke it into categories of, like, professional, personal, like, relationships, and then, like, spiritual goals. And I only wrote down one, which was do something at St. Clement. I was just reviewing those, like, a couple of weeks ago, and it's kind of crazy to see that, because like I said before, I just went to mass by myself. When I was in Indy for 3 years, I didn't know anyone. And when I was in college, I would go to mass every week, but truly just went by myself, like, sat in a pew and came in and out. Like, I didn't know a single person. And that was the experience I had at St. Clement as well, just because by my own will of, that's just what I did. And so then, I set my goals in January, and then come Lent, that's when Alpha kicked off, and I was like, okay, like, this is it. I'm gonna do Alpha, like, and I'm a kind of an introverted person, so I was like, all right, this is stepping out of my comfort zone. This is what I signed up for. And so I totally just skipped the first week. I just didn't
No
go.
way. I thought you were out of town.
No, I just didn't go to the first week.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
And so then I get paired with this group of, like, 12 people that also skipped the first week. And
I did that because I thought everybody was out of town.
I think it was probably 50-50. Some were out of town, some were, like, in the same boat as me.
That's really funny.
But, like, our personalities obviously just really hit it off.
Yeah.
And so that was my first introduction to Alpha.
Awesome.
That was spring of 2024.
Yeah. It's crazy how, like, we're so afraid to, like, make the commitment of just, like, taking one step further into something. In this case, parish life or just faith outside of going to mass by yourself. But as soon as you just take one little step, it's like, oh, this is exactly what I needed, and I just needed to do it. And so I love that you both just, like, started by being like, okay, nope, I'm gonna do this even if I don't really want to. I'm gonna do it. And so what was it like for you having those faith conversations with strangers? How was that kind of eye-opening?
I feel like sometimes I feel like it's actually more comfortable to have some of those conversations with like people you don't know or people you like recently met, because I find, at least in my own life, sometimes it's hardest to have those conversations with the people you're literally closest to in your whole entire existence. So I also personally, I have a lot of friends who are of various faiths. And so it's special to be able to come into Alpha and know at least that like everyone's from a different background, but also everyone's here for a reason, and kind of with like a similar intent of like, we're interested in at least learning in the faith and just knowing more and seeing what comes from that. So for me personally, I love just like having those conversations, and I think it's sometimes a little bit, it's intimidating right when you go in, or like even just like the getting there's the hardest part for Michael. And so
Always has been.
relatable. It is for all of us. So when you get there, it's like you could take a deep breath and be like, okay,
Yeah.
it's like not so scary once I'm
Yeah.
here, and like everyone's here, and like everyone's scared to open up,
Yes.
but like slowly we'll do it together, and like it's really cool to be in that space, because the more others share, the more you feel called to share it, and it's just kind of like a domino effect.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I think the first question that Alpha asks is like, is there more to life than this? And I think that that's something that we all ask all the time, but we already know the answer to it. Of like, yeah, there's got to be more to life than your job, even if it's something that you're passionate about and it's wedding photography. Of like, this is not the end all be all, and it's just a group of 20-somes, young 30s coming together on a Monday night to explore that question of like, we all know deep down that there is something more to this, and then okay, we all agree. Now let's explore what that looks like. And I've got a huge friend group here, but like Teresa said, not everyone is from the faith background where I can talk to them about anything.
Yeah.
But it is different when you can talk to someone about your faith comfortably, open, and just ask questions. Yeah, and just one of the it was like after the first week that I went to Alpha, I went to mass the next day, and I went to mass the next Sunday, and I ran into my leader there, and he was just standing outside on the plaza, and it was like, hey Michael, like how are you, like good to see you, how's your week been? And I just remember feeling like this like flush of like, someone said hi to me at mass. I haven't known anyone at mass for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
Like a single person outside when I go with my parents.
Right.
And I was just like blown away that that I could feel that again.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It's so good because it's like Jesus gave us the church so that we could be in community with each other, because it gets so much easier when you go to mass and you know people and you're like, we're all showing up with something different.
Yeah.
It's like, in what other scenario does doing something all by yourself really ever work out better than if you were to do it with some other people, you know? So it's like, it's so being known at mass, I feel like it's just such a huge thing. And so what was it like for both of you? Like, where did your head start going, or your heart, when you did Alpha? You learned about the Holy Spirit a lot. I feel like it becomes so much more personal. Like, how did your prayer life change, or anything like that?
Yeah. I feel like Alpha, I mean, this is literally so dramatic, but like I really feel like Alpha in so many ways like changed my life. And I think there's just so like Michael was saying, just like, is there more to life like than this? And I think, like you said, like there is, but so many of us, we don't really explore it, and we don't take the time to dig into it. It's like life is so busy, like we get so wrapped up in the world, and Alpha is just so cool because you get to just like sit down and like ask the big questions and talk about it, and kind of like sometimes process it too. And yeah, it's just really cool. I myself, in 2021, my dad passed away. And so coming off of that, it was like really, really hard years of grief for me. And I, going through the motions of like going to church and like feeling alone, and like those were the busiest years of my career. And so there was just so much like I felt so lost
Yeah.
and just so like what is truly like what is
Yeah.
life? Like this world might be terrible.
Yeah.
And and then you like start to like you even mentioned Elise like when you start to like get involved in community and like surround yourself with people who believe so many of similar things and can just like talk about bigger things in life.
Mm-hmm.
It's really really I think it's just you don't really find that
Yeah.
and so I think with Alpha it was a really big segue into just growing deeper, so much deeper into my faith
Yeah.
and in community and also with God
Mm-hmm.
and just exploring like again like I had mentioned how often like how much is possible like can I be here at St. Clement, and now like I live 20 to 30 minutes away from St. Clement, like so far. I'm on the river, but traffic, and it's like I'm like it's the only place I'll go. Like
Yeah.
I just want to be here. And like it's
Yeah.
not to say the other churches in Chicago aren't incredible, but it's like the community and
Yeah.
you just grow. It's such a perfect segue into like other areas of your faith and prayer life that it's hard to find otherwise, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Totally. I think it's as soon as you choose to like root yourself somewhere and just like anchor down, it's not like transformation happens overnight, but because you chose to like plant your feet, stay in one place, you can watch yourself transform because you can think back to, okay, a year ago, or like when I just did Alpha for the first time, like that's where my head was at. And now I look at it 2 years later and like I'm a completely different person because one, transformation takes time and it's so beautiful, but it's so beautiful to be able to have witnesses to that. Like I think about the friends that I met here 2 years ago and how we've together have like just grown into and like become more whole through our relationships with Jesus. And that's just what's so cool. It's like when you really plant your feet and you just keep showing up, then it's also like a good way to like a diary, kind of like looking back and being like, wow, look how far I've come since like this time last year, sort of thing. And look how more involved I've gotten in ways that I've, grown in that sort of faith. So I think you're exactly right. Now, like I see you singing in the choir every Sunday, like everybody knows Teresa. Like it's just, it's so crazy.
Terrifying.
What can happen in a few years,
Yeah.
right? When you just keep saying yes
Yeah.
and showing up.
Yeah.
With great faith.
Yeah. Special.
What would you say?
Well, first, I've only been to like 4:30 mass like twice, and that's where Teresa sings.
Yeah.
And the first time I went, like I was kind of sitting in the back, and Teresa, you're not the tallest person.
Thanks.
But,
So true. So true.
But you had like the music the sheet paper up to here, and I just getting to know you, and I was like, I didn't know you sang at all, like at all, and I was like, is that Teresa? I'm like,
there's Teresa, like half of her face.
but like you have obviously such an amazing voice, but I had no idea, and I was like, is that Teresa singing?
That's
crazy.
really funny.
In like music though, like I grew up in like taking voice in choir, and they say to like keep your music up high because you otherwise you're looking down and your voice goes down, but you're so right, and I need to lower it because no one can see me. Anyways.
What was the question?
Tell us about how your faith grew after Alpha.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say, like, to quantify like how it grew. Of course because I was going to like I was at that point in my life where I had a lot of free time, so I was going to daily mass, but it was very like alone. And then recently I've been busier than ever where I don't get to go to daily mass all the time. I went last night and ran into like 15 people that I knew, which is insane on a Thursday at 6:00.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was crazy. During the sign of peace, I was like,
Yeah.
because I was like towards
hey,
the front,
everybody.
and I turned around. I didn't see like I saw
Yeah.
everyone. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like quantify like how it's grown because like I don't know, maybe I don't spend as much like focus time, but I think just because like life is a little bit busier for me.
Yeah.
But it's just the whole like everything about my life has been more peaceful, more gentle, like less anxiety, like the highs are still high, the lows aren't as low, kind of thing. And I just know that when I was going through Alpha the first couple times, like the people around my life, they could tell that something was different.
Yeah.
And I was just telling people like, oh, like this is I'm doing this thing on Monday nights. It's great. I'm running into people on Sundays. And people could just tell that I was lighter.
Yeah.
The outside world, it's so hectic, but it didn't seem to affect me as much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to quantify
Yeah.
like
Well, totally.
yeah.
And that's why, like, there's this scene in The Chosen where Mary Magdalene or Nicodemus asks Mary Magdalene, like, you're so different from the last time I saw you. Like, what happened? And her response, I think, is so beautiful, like, in The Chosen. Not, this is like scripted. I don't think that's not exactly like a quote from scripture, but she says, her character in The Chosen says, I don't know what has happened. All I know, I was one way then and I'm a different way now, and the only thing that happened in between was him, meaning Jesus. And that's just how I feel about my life, and I'm sure you guys feel similarly. Like, it's like you can't even really like say, oh, this happened in this order, I started trusting God more about this, da, da, da. Like, you can't even list it all out. It's just like such a beautiful, slow, like, just transformation that just happens in life when you just start rooting yourself in Christ, and it's so cool. What do you say, like, and I think we talked about in the beginning, like, it's hard to have these kind of conversations with your closest friends and family who maybe aren't on the same page. Like, how do you guys kind of handle that? Or like, have you been inviting people? Like, how do you kind of get with that?
I've invited some friends to like come along, whether that be friends visiting or friends here in Chicago. And I think I'm still learning like on how to approach like bringing in friends and others of different backgrounds and faiths. And I think like I gauge a little bit of like what's like their interest level. Like, do they ask questions when I talk about it? Like, I don't know. I think similar to Michael, like I'm so blessed. Like all my friends of whatever they believe, like they're so respectful and like honor what I believe and how I grew up in my faith. And I think also, I think just kind of like in conversation, if they're like ask questions from time to time, or if I know they're a little bit like curious in faith, then I'll bring them in. Or if I do know that they're Catholic and they maybe attend church somewhere else and they don't offer Alpha, I'll invite them in. So I've definitely brought friends in, and they've all said wonderful things. And I think it's always a learning.
Yeah.
The three of us all, like, I think we have diverse groups of friends, people with different interests, just like all from all, like, being in Chicago for a long time. And it's like, I think people assume that everyone who comes to church is like one way, like that like, oh, like I am like not churchy enough for the people, is what I think people outside would assume. And it's just so funny because like as I get to know you guys and you have such like just interests and passions, and like it's so cool to see that like the church is just supposed to be just a hodgepodge of people and just like figuring it out. And so, I just think about like, I struggle with inviting my closest friends to things and things like that. But, it's something that I want to like grow in and work on, just because it's like, I don't know, it's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But I know, I wish that like, I always think, I wish when I bring my friends here, I'm like, okay, I would want to introduce them to my friends and be like, no, look, like I promise, like you can get along with anybody here.
I feel like I also want, like, I always have the desire to like invite friends, but I also feel like sometimes, I don't know, I guess it's the same thing as like just simply attending Alpha. It's kind of like something holds you back. You're just like, do I do it? Do I not? Like, and I guess the worst thing they could say is no. And I think I need to remember that. And like,
totally.
I don't know. What are your thoughts, Michael?
Yeah, I struggle with it as well. And I think, I don't know, speaking on behalf of every single Catholic, I don't know, evangelization isn't our strong suit.
Yeah. Definitely not like the like street evangelization that other denominations are really good at, like talking about it one-on-one. Like, you're right. Like and I think that's because faith for a while was like a really private thing. But now I think there's a lot of curiosity out there. So I think people are more open. I don't know.
I totally agree. And for me, faith was so like, cannot emphasize enough. It was just mine, and I put it in a box, and it's mine.
Yeah.
And my friends, like, were great. I got a group chat of 20 guys living in Lincoln Park, which is insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I can feel my phone buzzing. They're just like always chopping it up. Friday at 10 o'clock.
Michael's like, that's my phone. I know it's my phone.
It was
Okay,
ringing
go off,
earlier.
Kane.
Michael's booked and busy.
Yeah. But yeah, I do struggle with like inviting people. The easy answer is like, oh, well, people, they notice a change in me and they ask, and then I can talk about it instead of like being proactive. So like, for example, my brother lives in, he's in Gold Coast, and he told me he signed up for Alpha this week.
Nice.
I don't, Elise can
I'm gonna
confirm
check.
or
No, I'm
deny.
kidding.
But he was like, oh yeah, like he's like, I went to, he drives all the way up from Gold Coast.
Yeah.
It's a mile and a half.
I'm further than him.
Yeah, I know.
He's fine. He's fine.
But I you know, he tells me, he's like, oh, I saw you, they played a video at Mass. I saw you in the video. I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh yeah. I forgot to tell you guys.
Yeah, I
about
didn't
it.
sign a waiver.
Yeah.
My NIL.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like like I've invited friends to outside events as well. Like our friend Jack has a huge
Yes.
crawfish boil where he invites every single person he knows. And I invited a group of people to go see that. I'm like, these are some, I know that there's gonna be people there that you guys would like. These are friends that I've made. Like, I haven't had to make a new friend in years, but I've made all of these friends. They're gonna be people there that you're gonna like. So I invited them to like an outside event like that. And Jack, like, we've got 200 people like on Diversity Harbor.
Yeah.
And
Insane.
Jack just welcomes everyone with a prayer.
Right.
And he's like, you know, whatever background of faith you're in, like, we're all here. We're all looking for community. Like, thank you for being here. I'm going to lead us in prayer. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen in everyday world.
Yeah.
So yeah, inviting people to stuff like that, I can be better, of course.
Right. I mean, I get totally. I feel the same way. I can be better. And I think my fear is that I'm like, oh, I don't want them to think that I'm doing this because I think something's wrong with their life. It's not that at all.
Yeah.
It's like, no, wait, I found something really good. And like, I want to share it with you. Like, I just, like, it's so good. I know you'll love it. Come on.
Yeah.
His name is Jesus. Like, you know, like you're going to love him. But yeah, like, it's something that I think we can all grow in. But when you think about it, you both have come such a long way from being people who, and me too, we're in the pews, going to Mass alone, to, okay, I'm going to put my foot in the door. I'm going to do something, really committing to it. And now you both lead others in Alpha coming up. We'll start on Monday. And that's just so cool because it's like, okay, like, you are stepping up to say, like, I found this, you know, I want to share it with others, strangers. So yeah, I think just like, I think everybody totally understands the feeling of like, it's hard to share with your closest friends. But if you have the opportunity to share it with strangers, do it, you know, like that, anything.
It's interesting too of like my goal back in 2024 was like do something, and that turned into like so much more. But it was also from an invitation. Like, I was invited to lead in Alpha, and that was crazy. I didn't go out and be like, well, now I'm gonna do this. And so I think like that was something I did want to do. And the opportunity presented to me, and I said yes. Had I not been asked, that we wouldn't be here right now. And so that's like, interesting of like, people want things and sometimes they just have to be asked and they'll say yes.
That's so true.
I feel like also with just like sharing, I try to like, because I do think like and probably so many of us, like, it's okay to put some pressure on ourselves. Like, no, you should share it more. But I try to like, when I'm like, okay, it's okay. When I like take a step back, sometimes I'm like, what feels authentic to me, and the way that like feels right to me and how I share it. And like, whether that be like in any form, whether that be through social or through in-person conversations or on the phone or a simple text, like whatever that is, I try to just like stay true to like what feels right and like what I'm feeling called to share and in what way. And like, I think beyond that, it's important to like push ourselves and like,
Totally.
try to strive for more
Totally.
always. But I think that's like a good place to start.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm wrong, but I
No.
think it feels comfortable to just be like, what feels right in this moment?
Yeah.
And like, and authentic to you personally.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's so good.
And people see it, like people have seen the difference in me. I've got a buddy who's getting married in like a month, and I'm in the wedding party as like a groomsman, and it's like a traditional Catholic wedding. And he's like a spiritual guy. He's great. And he asked me, he's like, can you do a reading at the mass, like as a groomsman, which is crazy. Like usually that's reserved for like the godmother. Or like the one aunt that goes to daily mass. Maybe I am his aunt that goes to daily mass.
That's awesome.
And so that's kind of cool of like, you've got all his friends are going to be there, but he sees that in you. And so people do see it, whether or not like you're verbally promoting.
Yeah, totally. Well, this has been such a lovely chat with the two of you. Question I like to ask all my guests is, what is something right now that is fueling your faith? So it could be like a favorite song, it could be a reading or a practice that you've been doing. What would you say, Teresa? You can think about it.
For me, it is definitely been singing at church, which you guys already called out. It was like, I believe it was literally 3 years ago. And this was going to be like my original into St. Clement in like 2022. And I literally like auditioned to sing with mass. And then like immediately after I got overwhelmed and I was just like, no, not doing this. And so then I have quite literally like all of last year, every time I'd come to mass, I was like, I just need to do it. Like I grew up singing. It was a huge part of my life. Like I just need to do it. And finally, like this year, I was like, all right, God's been knocking on my door for like 365 days. Like, what am I doing? And so I finally in January started singing with 4:30, and it's been just such a special part of my life. Like Sundays for a long time have been my favorite day of the week, but now like especially like it's like the number one thing I look forward to. And it just, I feel so close to God, and I feel like it's a way for me to connect with the church and the community and just share my gifts, and it's my like contribution. So I love it.
I love that.
It's really been fueling me.
Yes, we love it when you sing at church too.
Thank you.
I'd say for me, like kind of like looking at the next, like what does the end of the year look like for me? I'm trying to do, so we're doing Alpha, and I go to mass on Sunday. So it's like Sunday, Monday, booked, cool. And traditionally I'm like, all right, that part of my life is set, and that's what got me here, and it's great. And so going forward, just until the end of the year, my focus is do +1. Just do something more once a week. And so kind of like having like a rotation of things, of trying out. So this week on that checklist was go to adoration. And so that was last night. It was Thursday night mass and adoration. That was this week's +1.
I like that.
And so kind of having like an alternate, like if it's 3 days a week, that's where we're at right now. Where, you can communicate with God like throughout your whole day, but actively going out of your way, showing up. So just doing +1.
That's
so
great.
I was like, we have Sunday mass and we have Monday Alpha. What's fueling me right now is +1. Do one more thing.
Your 2024 goals was do 1, and now you're up to 3.
No,
Look at this.
So my August goals, I set goals for the month. My August goal was to review 2025 goals, because I haven't looked at them at all. So so then I go back and I was like, I didn't even make any 2025 goals.
This year has just like flown.
I was like, I don't know my goal was to review my goals, and I reviewed them and came to the conclusion I didn't make any.
Oh no.
And so I was like, all right, we got a 4-month sprint. I'm like, what are we doing? The year's not over. What are we doing for the next 4 months?
September through December.
That was literally it. And so like that was it, of like +1.
Nice.
For 4 months.
That's awesome.
I love it.
And then we'll review in 2026.
That's awesome.
Elise, can we ask you what's fueling your faith right
sure.
now?
No one's ever asked me before.
Really?
So I heard about this thing called St. Michael's Lent through Hallow. And it's the time period it's 40 days between the Feast of the Assumption and the Feast of St. Michael the Archangel.
29th September.
Yes. And so it's 40 days. And I'm someone who I I really love Lent. Like, I just really love when everyone's like gung-ho about like, we're gonna do hard things together and we're gonna like, it's gonna be really good. And so I heard about St. Michael's Lent, which is like Lent 2.0 in the same year. I'm like, great, 2 Lents 1 year. This is awesome. So my thing was I really want to grow in my devotion to the Blessed Mother. And so I've started praying the rosary daily. Haven't been perfect about it, but that's been really, really good to just, because like I've always been, jealous is the wrong word, but like when I hear other people being like, oh, I love the rosary, I love Mary so much, like this relationship is great, I'm like, I'm jealous. I'm like, wait, I want that. Like my middle name is Mary. I'm like, come on, like I'm gonna chase this. And so I really have been feeling like that devotion has been growing, and I'm starting to feel like when I miss the rosary on a day, I'm like, oh, something was missing. So that's been really cool. Yeah. So cool. And if anybody's interested in St. Michael's Lent, Hallow has some cool stuff going on. That's cool. So, yeah. Love.
That was St. Michael. My name's Michael. I was like the feast day of St. Michael. That's why I knew it was the 29th.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But like they call it Michaelmas, like Christmas, but Michaelmas. And it's like,
that's awesome.
No, I'm serious. Like
we need to go somewhere together. Like
so it's like a huge feast day in like the UK still. It's like a huge Michaelmas. So you'll read like I don't know, any English literature and we were celebrating Michaelmas today.
Wait, that's crazy. Like, you've got to celebrate this year, September 29th.
We're having a Michaelmas bash.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
So,
oh my gosh.
Father announces it at the beginning.
Yeah, happy Michaelmas.
Today we celebrate the feast day of Michaelmas.
Oh my gosh. Well, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for being guests. And yes, I'm looking forward to Alpha this time. It's gonna be so fun.
So excited.
Yay. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.